everyone, welcome to Mariam's Reading Haven. Today in this episode I'll be sharing with you The Naughtiest Girl in the School by Enid Blyton. Chapter 5, Elizabeth is Naughty. Elizabeth pushed open the door and went into the big drawing room. It was a lovely room with a few pictures on the wall and glowing cushions on the chairs and the couches. The two mistresses were sitting on chairs near the windows. They looked up as Elizabeth came in. "Well, Elizabeth, we are very glad to see you at Whiteleaf School," said Miss Bell. She was young and pretty, but Miss Bess was older, and except when she smiled, she had a rather stern face. "Sit down, Elizabeth," said Miss Bess, smiling her lovely smile. "I hope you made a few friends already." "No, I haven't," said Elizabeth. She sat down on the chair. Miss Bess looked rather surprised when she answered so shortly. "Well, I expect you will make plenty," said the headmistress, "and also very soon. I hope you'll be very happy with us, Elizabeth." "No, I won't," said Elizabeth in a rude voice. "What a funny little girl," said Miss Bell, and she laughed. Cheer up, dear. You will soon find things are very jolly here, and I'm sure you will do your best to work hard and make us proud of you." "I'm not going to," said Elizabeth, going red. "I'm going to be as bad and naughty and horrid as I can possibly, po- possi- possibly be. So there. I don't want to go to school. I hate Whiteleaf School. I'll be so glad that you'll send me home next week." Little girl glared at the two mistresses as she said all this, expecting them to jump up in anger. But instead, they both threw back their heads and laughed and laughed. "Well, Elizabeth, what an extraordinary child you are," said Miss Bell, wiping away the tears of laughter that had come into her eyes. "You look such a good, pretty little girl, too. No one would think you would want to be so bad, naughty, and horrid." "I don't care how you punish me," said Elizabeth, tears coming into her eyes, but tears of anger, not laughter. "You can do all you like, but I shan't care." "We never punish anyone, Elizabeth," said Miss Bess, suddenly looking stern again. Didn't you know that?" "No, I didn't," said Elizabeth in astonishment. "What do you do when people are naughty then?" "Oh, we leave any naughty person to the rest of the school to deal with. Every week the school has a meeting and naughty people are punished there. So if it won't bother us if you are naughty, but you may perhaps find to make the children angry." "That seems funny to me," said Elizabeth. "I thought it was always the teachers that did the punishing." "Not at Whiteleaf School," said Miss Bell. "Well, Elizabeth, my dear, perhaps you had better go and tell the next rank to come in, will you? Maybe one day Whiteleaf School will be proud of you, even though you're quite sure won't." Elizabeth went out without another word. She couldn't help liking the two headmistresses, though she didn't want to at all. She wished she had been ruder to them. What a funny school it was. She said to Helen, who was the next to come and see the headmistresses, "The Beauty and the Beast want to see you," she said. "Oh, you naughty girl," said Helen with a giggle. "Miss Bell and Miss Bess, the Beauty and the Beast. That's rather clever of you to think that, Elizabeth." Elizabeth had meant it to be rather rude, but she didn't know enough of other children to know that nicknames for teachers were a comedy, and they always loved it. But she stuck her nose in the air and marched on. She wasn't going to be pleased with anything or anybody at Whiteleaf School. She wandered around until the supper bell went at 7 o'clock. She felt hungry and went hung, she felt hungry and went into the dining hall. The children were once more opening their tins of cakes and a lively chatter was going on. It looked very jolly. There were big mugs on the table and big jugs of steaming hot cocoa here and there. There were piles of bread again, butter, cheese, and dishes of stewed fruit. The children sat down and helped themselves. Nobody took any notice of Elizabeth at all, till suddenly Helen remembered what she had called Miss Bell and Miss Best. With a giggle, she repeated it to her neighbor, and soon there was laughter all around the table. "The Beauty and the Beast," when the whisper and the chuckles around and echoed around. Elizabeth heard the whisper and went red. Nora O'Sullivan laughed loudly. "It's a jolly good nickname. Belle means beauty, and Best is very like Beast, and certainly Miss Belle is lovely, and Miss Best isn't. It's very smart of you, Elizabeth." Elizabeth smiled. She really couldn't help it. She didn't want to. She wanted to be as hard as possible, but it really was very pleasant to have everyone laughing at her joke. though. She said I meant to be horrid and rude, and the others think it's funny. I guess Miss Bess won't think it was funny though. Nobody offered Elizabeth any of their goodies, for she felt and she didn't like to offer hers, but she felt everyone would say no. The meeting went on till 7:30, and then Elizabeth found her bedtime was a date. Oh yeah, he said. My bedtime is at 8:30, said Nora, and when I come to bed, I expect all the rest of you to be safe in bed. I don't want to go to bed at 8 o'clock, said Elizabeth indignantly. I would want to go to bed much later later than that, like I do at home. Well, you shouldn't then. No wonder you're such a cross patch. My mother says that late hours make children stupid, bad-tempered, and slow. Elizabeth went to see the times for going to bed. Hers was, as Nora said, was at 8 o'clock. Well, she wouldn't go. She would be naughty. So she slipped out the garden and went to where the swing was. After a long time, a boy came to where the swings were. What are you doing? I bet it's your bedtime. Mind your own business, said Elizabeth once. Well, you're going off to bed and minding yours, said the boy. I'm monitoring and I'm a monitor, and it's my job to see that people do as they are told. Well, I don't know what a monitor is, and I don't care. Well, let me tell you what a monitor is, said the boy, who was just about Elizabeth's size. It is somebody put in charge of all the silly kids at Wycliffe School to see that they don't get too silly, and if you don't behave yourself, I shall have to report you at the meeting. Then you will be punished. Pooh, she said, and she swung herself very hard indeed, put out her foot, and kicked the boy so vigorously that he fell right off. Elizabeth squealed with laughter, but not for long. The boy jumped and ran to the swing and shook Elizabeth off. He caught hold of her dark-haired girls and pulled them so hard that the little girl yelled with pain. The boy grinned at her and said, "Serve you right. You be careful how you treat me next time, or I'll pull your nose as well as your hair. Now, are you going in or not?" Elizabeth ran away from him and went indoors. She looked at the clock, 8:15. Perhaps she'd have to go to bed before that horrid Nora came up at half past. She ran up at the stairs and went to bedroom number 6. Ruth, John, and Belinda and Helen were already there, half undressed. The curtains were pulled around the cubicles, but they were talking hard all the same. Elizabeth slipped into her own cubicle. "You late, Elizabeth," he said. "You'll get into trouble if you are caught by a monitor." I have been, said Elizabeth. "But I didn't care. I was on the swing and I put my foot down and kicked him." "Well, you are very silly. You will get into trouble at the meeting if you don't look out. And that's not pleasant." "I don't care for any silly meetings," said Elizabeth, jumping into bed. She remembered that Nora had put her 3 photographs into the lock box, and she jumped out again. She went to the box and to open it, but it was still locked. Nora came in and saw Elizabeth there. "Hello, kid. Do you want your things back? Well, apologize and you can have them." But Elizabeth was not going to say she was sorry. She made a rude face at Nora, flung herself into bed. "Well, you are a sweet child, aren't you?" said Nora mockingly. "I hope get out of the right side of your bed tomorrow." Then there was a creak as Nora sat on her bed to take off her stockings. A clock struck at 8:30 downstairs. "No more talking now. Sleep tight, all of you." Everyone, so that's all of chapter 5 today. There's a picture this time, very rare. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoy this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, share, and please respond to my posts. And of course, comment to Mariam's Reading Habit. So, bye!